and welcome to my channel. This is Lucian's Place, where I'll be posting chess content, Minecraft content, puzzle content, really anything that I'm interested in. This is going to be my first video on YouTube, and it is also the first rated game that I've ever played on chess.com, and it's from my first ever live stream. So a lot of firsts here. Let's just get right into it. So it starts with e4, best by test. I'm an e4 player, that's just kind of how it goes. e5, pretty standard. Knight f3, going for the scotch. And obviously if they play knight c6, right, I'm just going to come here and play into the scotch, and we'll see what happens. But instead of that, they play the Petrov. So for the Petrov, I play the line where I take. And that's because I'm comfortable going into a Stafford or anything else that might come up. So especially with all the chess content out there on the Stafford, it's important to know how to play against these type of openings and being willing to take this type of attack for the Petrov. But instead of that, they take, and I play the queen out. They match me, and I take. And then this happens. During the stream, I knew that wasn't a move. I just didn't know exactly how to punish it. And I thought about supporting my center, bringing the queen back, and I decided to play pawn d4. And it's best by the computer. And then they proceeded to play queen b4 check. Well, I definitely knew that there was something wrong with that. And as you can see from the evaluation bar, there's definitely something wrong with that. So I blocked with a pawn. And it's funny because I just thought this is so obvious. Why would you check something that I can easily block with a pawn? Actually, the computer prefers blocking with knight c3, probably supporting my center, and takes, and I'm just doing fine, right? But I go here. Then they play this move. So some of you might be thinking, well, that's just a free queen. And yes, in fact, it is just a free queen. But I don't know what was going on. Maybe it was nerves. I don't know what my thought process was. That would have been a great way to end my first ever rated game on chess.com, right? Pawn takes queen, and it's game over. But I missed that. I was so stuck on taking this pawn back, and I did. The evaluation is still in my favor. Clearly, it would have been much better to take the free queen. Yeah, they come back with their queen, and I don't want to trade. I'm thinking I'm letting them get their bishop out and then castling. So I'm just thinking to myself, let me block off their not really their development, but block them off from castling. The queens are kind of pinned, so something has to happen. And I just pre-moved pawn takes e5, and that's exactly what happens. Oh. It's obviously best to take back the queen. And here I wasn't too worried how far my pawn was. There might be issues in the long term, but instead, they play bishop out. I just castled. Get my king to safety, right? Get my king out of the center, and they can't castle. So their next move is rook f8. I didn't really know what to do from here, where to go, so I just decided to try to kick the bishop out, and they just moved back. And during the stream, I was thinking, if the bishop comes here, then I can go for this a4, a5 idea, kind of busting open the queen side here, and most probably trapping their bishop. But as you know, that didn't happen. They just brought their bishop back. But I still kept that a4, a5 idea in my head, and it comes into play a little bit later. But what happens here is I then bring my knight to the center. So I'm looking to centralize my knight. I was thinking, bring my knight to e4, kind of control these squares, right? So no pawn push because, takes, and I'm attacking, and there's, I'm not worried about any threats coming in. Obviously here I'm not hanging anything because it's not like it's not like I hang a fork or a skewer here or anything, because not only is this square covered, but even if it wasn't covered, if the rook came down, then I could just block with the pawn. So I just wasn't worried, and I was ready to centralize the knight. And they did the same thing. They centralized their knight. And in this position, I thought for a little bit, and I decided to play f4. The computer likes rook e1. That makes sense. Just again, centralizing the pieces. But again, my idea was to bring the knight here. So I didn't want to block that square off because, if I play rook e1 and then I centralize, well, now I'm no longer defending. So I just played pawn f4. And they responded with b6. I wasn't sure exactly what they were trying to do. I was thinking, if they're trying to kick out my bishop, they should have played like a6 or something. And I just wasn't sure what the plan was on this side. And after after they do this, I just centralize the knight, continue with my plan, controlling the squares. There's essentially, for me, I'm looking at this and I didn't see any immediate threats. And then they fianchetto. They're just going to castle queenside, right? I've been keeping them from the other side. They moved their rook a while back. There's no way they can castle, so they're going the other way. I wasn't exactly sure what to do here, but I was thinking, put pressure on the knight, right? The knight can't move, and there's no pawns to kick me, so this pawn can't move through the knight and attack my bishop, and there's no more central pawn. There's no central or e pawn, I should say, for black to attack. So if the knight moves anywhere, that's trying to sack or do something. I don't even know. I just have this pressure here, and I wasn't worried. And then they castled queenside. I still had that a4, a5 idea in my head, and I was thinking, well, castle queenside now is literally the best time to go for it. Computer preferred bishop e3 here, just bringing the bishop in, going for the diagonal here. But I had this idea earlier, a4, a5, just kind of busting into the position. And what happens next just kind of surprises me. They go to attack my rook, but if you can see by the evaluation bar, something's wrong, and I spotted it pretty quickly, and or I'd say pretty quickly. It's just a clean fork, and their response was a check. And during the live stream, I called it a spite check. It's not really a spite check because it isn't just to check and lose material, because here it's just an equal trade. But as you can see, the computer doesn't like that at all. It goes from +5 to +8.5 because you don't want to trade material when you are down. It's not going to be good for your position. So I take. They're starting to open up their king over here. My next decision was, do I take the bishop or the knight? Well, not only is the bishop just better in this kind of position where it's not really closed, things are going to start to open up. It's good to have these diagonals open, but also because if I take the knight, that rook that I kept from getting taken would just get taken. So I take the bishop, and I guess in order to avoid me tripling up their pawns, they play their knight out to a5. In this position, I make a very weird move. I play the bishop to a8, and my thought process was, I don't want to pull the bishop back and get kind of blocked out of the position here, right? If I bring the bishop back, then just simply pawn forward, and I'm stuck. But the computer just liked bishop a3, coming over, attacking the pawn, and even better, x-raying this rook all the way over here on f8. And like I said, like you saw, I missed that idea, and I just played bishop there, and yeah, they brought the knight in, and it's just a fork. But again, I'm not too concerned about material being traded off, and I thought about it for a couple seconds. I was like, rook comes over here, they take. I can't take with the f rook, right? I can't play rook f takes c1. I'd have to play the rook over again so I can keep defense of this pawn. But when I play the rook over, they don't even take. They don't even take. They just push, and I just play the bishop out. You know, lining up here, getting ready to take this pawn, just ready to open up the position, and then hopefully push my pawn and get a queen. Easy win, and I'm completely winning here. But I was just trying to figure out how to convert, and it takes me a little while from here to get to that last step. But they bring their king over, which inadvertently ends up pinning their knight. Before, their knight could have moved, but now, when I bring the bishop back here to attack this pawn, the knight can't even come back to a5 to defend because it's pinned to the king. So, the computer obviously loves that, and they just play rook to e5. I take, but the computer wanted me to just kick the rook back out. I wasn't even considering that. I just brought my bishop back. That's kind of where my mind was, and I just took. And because they didn't move their king out of the way, then not only do I win a pawn, but on the very next move, unless they like sack their rook or something crazy happens, I'm going to be winning that. I'm going to be taking the knight, and they just play the pawn forward. I don't know what else really there is to do, and then I take the knight, and they come here. I guess I was just going for checks, right? Trying to come in, take the pawn, and it's mate in 6, but I don't see that. They play back, and all I need to do is bring my rook over, and the rooks come up together, and just block off all the squares. And this pawn right here, this pawn that I pushed there way back at move 7 or whatever it was, is doing a really important job of blocking off that escape square. But I'm just trying to win the material. I'm trying to get that queen, and it's mate in 10 according to the computer. But again, I'm not seeing mate in 10. Right, I'm going for the pawns, and I'm trying to get a queen. So they play there, and I'm thinking, all right, let's just trade off material. Again, the computer just wants me to bring my rook over, but I don't see that, and I'm never going to see that. I'm playing with my bishops. I'm completely forgetting this because I don't need to be, but I'm sitting here like worried about their threat, like they're going to take, and I'm going to need to keep this pawn push from causing me any problems. But this is just going to be a queen, right? I just need to play with my material, bring the rook over, and I'm fine. But I play here, and I play back, getting ready to push the pawn. They start coming in, and not much else happens. Mate in 4 again, just bringing the rook over. But I have this idea. If I check them, if they take, then I get a queen. And if not, then I shut them out, and I can attack the pawn. And I'm thinking, take the pawn, and come here, and just simply mate, right? But again, in this position, just rook b1, and mate's unstoppable. But I play back, and after all this time, they don't even take. they just push the pawn forward. And here it's just a quicker mate, again, bringing the rook in, but I take, and they just end up losing on time. And it was a very good game. For my first rated game, I thought it went very well. Obviously, I missed the queen right at the start, but I took the winning position and I converted it. I got 168 rating points for that. They're very generous to us new players over here. Thank you very much for watching. I'll be streaming content on Twitch. I'll be posting the rest of the games that I played during that initial live stream here to YouTube and going through the analysis. So subscribe to catch that when I post those videos. Go follow me on Twitch. Join my Discord. All links are down below in the description. Thank you very much for watching.